Welcome to the New Day Podcast. I'm Pam Ford, Executive Director of New Day Employment Network. You can learn more about our work at newdayemploymentnetwork.org. Each month, we spotlight a Justice Alliance organization making meaningful change in our communities, supporting individuals impacted by the justice system and building pathways to opportunity. The Justice Alliance was created because I recognize a challenge. Too many organizations were working in silos, duplicating efforts, and missing opportunities to combine our strengths. We needed all hands on deck. And that's when the idea for the Justice Alliance was born. To bring this vision to life, I asked Lachey Hudson to lead the Alliance, to build connections, to break down silos, and ensure that every voice has a seat at the table. Today, we're highlighting New Day Employment Network, a dedicated partner making a real impact in our community. Let's get into their story.
Hello, everybody in Justice Land. Welcome back to the Justice Alliance podcast. As you know, the Justice Alliance is a subsidiary, of the New Day Employment Network. And today, I have our esteemed guest here. I am so excited. I am so honored to have our esteemed guest here, Miss Donna Flowers, who is retired from Lewis University, and our esteemed elected official, Miss Sherry Williams of the Will County Board. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for being a part of the Justice Alliance. I really, really appreciate it. So we're going to get right into it, and I'm going to ask Miss Sherry, tell us, our audience, our justice community, tell us who you are and the work behind what you do.
I am Sherry Williams, and I am a Will County Board member for District 5, which covers Lockport, Crest Hill, some of New Lenox, and a few other little areas as well.
Okay.
I am also the Will County Democratic leader on the board. And basically, most people don't know what the county board does.
Yes, explain, tell us.
Well, basically, all the county agencies, Sheriff's Department, the county clerk, those countywide offices, their budgets are approved by the county board.
Okay.
So we also are the legislative end. We do have ordinances that we enact. And in general, we cover the unincorporated areas of Will County.
So what does that mean to be unincorporated?
It means that you are not in a municipality. You are
Okay.
in an unincorporated area. So kind of a no man's land, if you will. Oh. So most people don't realize that they're not in the municipality. So
Okay.
like if people live, I'll give an example. Preston Heights is unincorporated in Joliet.
Okay.
So if they needed services for police, they would call the Will County Sheriff's Department.
Okay.
Any other, and I tell them all the time that the only elected officials that they have are us county board members, Will County Sheriff, and then the township agencies.
So when you say elected official, how are you elected, and how can a person be qualified to be an elected official for the Will County Board?
For the board, the first qualification is that you have to live in that district that you're representing for at least a year.
Okay.
And then you have to be a registered voter and 18 years of age. That's pretty much it.
Any-
Which could explain some of the problems that we have on the board. A lot of people have different specialties, but there are certain things that you do as a county board member, and it's kind of a learn as you go situation sometimes too.
Okay. So what are some of the things that we can look for? Some of the things that you guys have already passed, some of the things that you have advanced already, and some of the things that you may be proud of being on the Will County Board.
Well, this is my first term, so I haven't had a lot of
Congratulations.
experience. Thank you, and I am up for re-election, so I maybe get a second term. But anyway, since I have been on the board, during COVID, we had a lot of the ARPA money,
Okay.
and we did distribute that into
And what
the
does ARPA
community.
stand for, just in case our audience?
American Rescue Plan Act,
Okay.
basically.
Okay.
And that was for the people that were suffering, some had some financial difficulties or
Sure.
whatever, mostly the businesses and nonprofits.
Okay.
We also, currently, we do have cannabis tax funds. So there's a cannabis tax that the state of Illinois distributes.
Okay.
And the county, we have our own separate account for just our people here in Will County.
And who does that money go to?
It's the different agencies. So
Okay.
each year we probably, so far we've been giving it to the different people. And sometimes some of the county agencies like the health department that do certain things in the community as well.
Okay.
So usually people have to apply. And there's grant fund. We basically do it as a grant. for the
Okay.
most
And
part.
lastly, how can folks get involved? Will County District 5 members or even Will County residents, how can they be a part of the meetings, or how can they even be a part of knowing about the cannabis money and where it goes and knowing about the things that you all are offering in the county?
So I will say that there are 11 districts in the county of Will and 2 representatives per district. Each district is basically equally divided. There's like 63,000 residents in each district.
Okay.
So reaching 63,000 people is not the easiest task in the world, yeah. So we do have a website, and actually our meetings are televised. You can watch them live, and you can watch them on YouTube as well afterwards. So if anybody wants to get involved, they can just go to the website and see what interests them. And in my situation, contact me, and there's always work to be done.
Okay, you're absolutely correct about that. Now, Miss Donna,
Yes.
please tell me about who you are and the work behind what you do.
Okay. Well, Lachey, as Lachey said, I'm Donna Flowers. I'm recently retired from Lewis University in the Office of Technology. And I also function as an adjunct professor.
Okay.
I still teach a class at the university, even though I'm retired.
Okay.
And I can say working at Lewis was amazing for me, only because I have 2 careers. I always tell everybody. My first career was in information technology,
Okay.
where I spent more than 25 years of my life in that field. And then I got into education.
Okay.
And I became a middle school teacher in the 8th grade. After all of that time, I went to education. And I don't want to bore you with the details, but it happened because I don't know if you guys remember the late 90s. Most large corporations were outsourcing
Yes.
the information technology.
Yes.
So I went through that process a number of times. And that last time, most of my jobs were in Chicago. I'm on the train coming home. And that last time I said, I have to find something else to do.
Sure.
And that's when I decided that I love sharing my information. And so I went to teaching. I said,
Thank
teaching
you.
might be good.
Thank you, because we need more people, like you, and especially being an African American woman.
Right.
We as and the younger African American girls and boys need to be able to identify,
Yes.
with you, and you
Yes.
understand the plight that African American girls and boys and families go through. So thank you for that selfless act. And,
Oh, yeah, it was my pleasure. I
Being
loved
a
it.
public servant, it's a lot being a teacher.
Oh, yeah.
Especially
In
teaching the
middle school.
2025 children and
Right.
and families. Yep. But what I also want to know is, when people hear the name Donna Flowers, what will you want them to take away from that and to remember?
I'd like them to remember that I tried to make a difference.
Okay.
I love my people, and I know the things that we've gone through in this country. Equality is something that we really have not obtained yet.
Sure.
and,
Sure.
and I want to strive to do that, as well as do the work that God put me here for.
Absolutely.
And
Amen.
after retirement, Pam had actually come to me before that
Okay.
to ask me about a program that she had started. And I thought it was just so awesome to be trying to help these individuals that have been incarcerated.
Sure.
For some of them for years, for decades,
Yeah.
to re-enter society and to give them the assistance that they needed in order for them to do that successfully. And I was just blown over. And then I prayed about it. I usually pray about everything I do.
Amen.
And I prayed about it, and this is what God has led me to do.
Well, thank you for that. Miss Sherry, what would you like for people to remember when they hear the name Sherry Williams, when they see it on TV, when you become, mayor, governor, president?
That's awesome.
Well, I consider myself a public servant. I retired from Will County Sheriff's Department. I was a dispatcher for over 20 years.
Wow.
And then I transferred over to the jail, and
Okay.
I was what they call a classification specialist. So we dealt with the inmates directly, and we interviewed them, made sure they were housed properly, even did disciplinary hearings and that type of thing. So I consider myself a public servant, and of course, that's that's a continuation of it as a county board member. I also very active in my union, so I
Okay.
believe in workers' rights, very much in workers' rights. And like you say, helping people is what I do, and sometimes inadvertently,
Okay,
it's just like
sure.
somebody, I know where you can go.
Right.
But like,
Yeah. When you're a
you call
public
so-and-so.
servant, it's in your heart.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's your heart.
But I would like people to remember that I did also try to make a difference,
Sure.
and I'm just helping people is what I do.
Wonderful. Ms. Donna, I want to go back to what you said about the justice impact people. What are some of the gaps that you can identify between the community and justice impacted individuals?
Well, the first thing is there is no preparation
Absolutely.
for them to re-enter the community.
Absolutely.
And that's where we come in with Indian to try to assist them in order to do that. There are so many things that they have to go through. It's almost like, I'll use the analogy of slavery,
Sure.
okay? Our ancestors were enslaved all of those years, and then all of a sudden one day they said, you're free. Free to what?
Right. Expected
I
to
can't
thrive.
read, I
Yeah.
can't write,
Yeah.
I don't have any income, no money, nothing to get started. But that's why I said earlier, I love black people because even through all of that, we're still here.
We're still thriving. Now tell me, because of the preparation, you, and NDEN means New Day Employment Network. And Pam, who she spoke about, Miss Pam Fort, she is the director of New Day Employment Network. And because of that preparation, you host and is the instructor for the 30-hour Life Essential Skills course
Yes.
that New Day Employment Network offers. Can you give me a little on that?
Well, what we try to do is, first of all, we start off by changing the mindset.
Sure.
Because when you've been incarcerated, you're told what to do, what time to do it, how to do it, all of the whole 9 yards, and then you're free. So you have to change your mindset to be more positive. Right. You have to learn how to set goals. Because when you're incarcerated, the goals are really set for you unless you have some internal things that you want to accomplish while you're there. Right. So we try to do that. We start off with that. We deal with workplace, your employment situation. How would you act on a job? You know, how to get a job. You know, what
Wow.
you need to do to deal
That
with
application process.
Yes. What you need to do to deal with things within society that you haven't been a part of for so long.
Absolutely.
So those are some of the things that we try to cover.
That sounds
It's a lot
good.
more, but
Yeah. And Ms. Sherry, you being a person with lived experience, not being incarcerated, but being in the field of justice impacted people, what can you say as a person with the lived experience and the authority point of view? What are some of the gaps that you can see or saw that you can identify between the community, the agencies, and the justice impacted individuals?
Well, I think that there could be a lot more done for the people for when they do get out.
Sure.
Because while I was there was hardly anything that they prepared them for. Right. And it's a little bit different in jail than prison because in jail they're in it's a shorter amount of time, but they're still not in the community at that time, which is one of the things that in addition to Pam doing Indian, we also do Speak Up and Vote.
Okay.
So I, as a former employee of the Sheriff's Department, I realized that the people down at the jail were not participating in that voting process.
Okay.
And so that's what we tried to do, and we actually were successful in getting in-person voting at the jail.
Wow.
Still working
Great.
on them letting us do the registration down there.
Okay.
So this is one of the ways that I feel that we can connect the individual back with the community. If you're
Okay.
voting while you're inside, then I believe you'll vote when you're outside as well. You
I
feel like
agree.
you're still a part of that community.
So are you saying that you are able to bring voter registration forms or to the prison so people can actually vote for the candidates?
So what they do is they actually, the weekend before the election, which election is March 17th this year, St. Patrick's Day. So it's the primary election. So the county clerk sends her people over to the jail to actually, just like a regular polling place.
Wow.
There are people there and they can vote in person the weekend before the election. So they have that opportunity to also register, same day registration at that time as well.
Oh, that's excellent. And because they're already in the facility, they don't have to have any ID, or they don't,
So
what would they need?
Their identification is their wristband. Their wristband has
Okay.
all their information
Okay.
on it, and that
Okay.
is, we actually had a special thing that the clerk did to allow for that, since they don't have a regular license or whatever
Right.
that, with them on their person,
Wow.
because all their belongings get locked up while they're in there
Okay.
as well. So we managed to, and that was legislation. I will say that was statewide, because, and Pam and I didn't start off to do that. We actually started off just trying to do registration.
Okay.
When we couldn't do registration, we said, well, at least we can get in-person voting. So we did, and I will thank.
That's even better.
Yeah,
That's even
yeah,
better.
It was, like I said, unintended. We just
Wow.
kind of snowballed. So
Right.
we had Senator John Connor at that time. He's a judge now, but
Okay.
at that time he sponsored the legislation, and one thing led to another, and we ended up with in-person voting. And it didn't just pertain to Will County. At the time that we did that, Cook County was they were the only county mandated to do in-person voting.
Okay.
Afterwards, all other 101 counties in the state of Illinois were eligible to have people vote in the jail as well.
Wow,
So-
that's extraordinary.
So that was pretty good, and that was, like I said, that Pam and doing her thing once again.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Pam.
Yes.
Yeah. So as the Justice Alliance, I have said before, or here on the camera, that is an organization or an alliance of organizations that assist pre-release individuals and post-release individuals, and prepare those justice impact individuals for release, and then we set them up for success when they are released. So some of the agencies that you all have seen, was Legal Aid and the Will County Health Department and Workforce and Lewis University, and now our very own elected official. So all of these alliance members are comprised to assist this community. So I would like to know from both of you, and lastly, why did you both choose to be a part of the Justice Alliance?
Well, for me, again, Pam was very, very instrumental in that.
Sure.
She said that this is one way that we could collaborate with all the other agencies and people that were interested in seeing to it that the people can do reentry successfully.
Absolutely.
And so I just, when Pam asks you to do something, you usually just go ahead and do it. So, but I don't mind. It's something
Yeah.
that I
Right.
think is worthwhile.
Yes,
So that's
yes.
how I got in there.
Yes.
Well, I believe that restorative justice in general is a topic that really needs to be addressed.
I agree.
And reentry is just one part of that.
Sure.
And if we can start, at one spot and continue to grow, I believe that as an issue for the people that are incarcerated, it will work out so much better.
I agree.
And the Justice Alliance is a community where
Yes.
they will have assistance to ensure that their reentry is successful.
Right, including trauma, behavioral health, including benefits when a person is released. And
Right.
so and I do not believe that there is an alliance. All the agencies assist the entire community, but this is specifically for justice impacted individuals. We often sometimes forget about those who are returning home and returning citizens, but we don't want to forget about those who are returning home, especially if they are deemed or expected to thrive
Yes.
when they get out. We want to at least give a person a hand, not a hand out, but we want to give them a hand up in order, to get back with their families, to develop relationships that they've never had before.
Right.
Give them a second chance and a second start. Sometimes 3 and 4. Sometimes, it takes that 3 and 4 and 5 time to get together, but at least they know that they have us that they can count on.
Yes.
So I want to thank you, ladies,
Oh,
for coming. Thank you
pleasure.
for your time. Thank you for your service. Thank you for all that you have done in the community. And I look forward to working with you for years to come.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you, New Day Employment Network, for sharing your work, your impact, and your commitment to our community. And thank you to Lachey Hudson for your continued leadership of the Justice Alliance in guiding these powerful conversations. At New Day Employment Network, we are proud to host these Spotlight series and elevate organizations helping individuals rebuild, reconnect, and thrive. To learn more about our work, upcoming events, or to connect with the Justice Alliance partner, visit newdayemploymentnetwork.org. Be sure to join us next month as we highlight another Justice Alliance partner doing transformational work. Thank you for listening to the New Day Podcast.